Howdy folks, and welcome back to my journey through Ramp 2025. I'm taking on the second half of Ramp's Techbase zone in this video, and this area has a whopping 62 maps. This delivery covers the final 32. I don't rate these maps by quality because Ramp is a project supposed to be inclusive of newcomers and veterans alike. Rather, I'll give these maps a difficulty rating and a style, which is just an indication of what kind of experience the map offers, whether that be classic, vanilla, or something more bespoke and experimental. These scores are, of course, my interpretation, and I'm no authority on the matter. If these playthroughs appeal to you, consider subscribing to get updated when I complete and upload videos for the remaining areas. First up is Residual Assimilation by OtterGauze. We start off in a modest tech base that makes use of the classic Doom 2 textures. Mid-tier monsters soon make an appearance, offering a greater challenge, and we progress through over a nukage pit, crossing a 3D sector bridge before being given a chain gun which triggers an ambush by a Hell Knight and some demon bodyguards. Blue key in hand, we push deeper into the base, balancing over pools of slime where we can find the red key, which springs a monster closet with a Hell Knight behind and brings in a nuisance pain elemental. After taking out this threat, we circle back and we're sent over the central nukage pit again, where we're made to contend with the Baron of Hell. Once we take out this threat, we're allowed to leave. A good start to the session, easing us in for more. 4 out of 10 difficulty, UDMF in style. Next we jump into Green Canyon Lab by Pyrosity. This is another tech-based map that makes solid use of the core Doom 2 textures and styling. This map is exceptionally detailed and first sends us into a rocky courtyard filled with imps and lost souls, but arms us with a chain gun. We circle back around into the base and swipe a blue key card before being sent down into a small watery cave system which leads us to the second half of the Green Canyon Lab. As you progress through this map, you'll notice the level of detail that Pyrosity put into their map remains consistent and thorough throughout. A small diversion through some access tunnels gifts us with a super shotgun, and we then battle our way through a room filled with radioactive waste. One more brief glimpse of grey skies and a very cool idling spaceship precedes a final showdown against all the worst that hell has to offer. Keep your cool and cause infighting where you can, and try not to get turned to pulp while you wear down the enemy. After being victorious in this skirmish, we're able to teleport our way to freedom. Difficulty 5 out of 10, classic in style. Moving on now to Techbase 23 by Paul Will. A nice dynamically lit storage room opens up this map, and we're sent out into the first room, guns blazing, as we meet heavy imp and zombie resistance. Take care, because the monsters and yourself can both shoot through the glass here, which caught me by surprise. The ambience of this map is fantastically set by heavy dynamic light use, as we're sent deeper into the storage area of this tech base, contending with a heavy roster of low tier monsters with a super shotgun, which really makes for a satisfying dispatching of threats. I really appreciate the dark heavy rooms in throughout this map, which lends itself to a claustrophobic feel. We find ourselves in a test chamber where it looks like scientists have been messing with hell portals again, with one stands open and ready to jump through. You immediately get the impression that you're not wanted in hell when you jump through though, as a roster of Hell Knights launches attacks at you while imps lob fireballs down from floating fire blue platforms. You finish out the map here, presumably to continue raising hell in future maps. Difficulty 4 out of 10, UDMF style. We'll take on Antechamber next, a map by QRT-RX4. Another tech-based map which lends itself to solid Doom 2 texture usage. This map immediately has you launch off an elevated platform into a crate-filled storage room to raise hell against an assortment of demons, imps and cacodemons. The threat level keeps up as you push further into this blue carpeted area, as a Baron is sent to finish you off. You're given a rocket launcher for your troubles, but rocket supply is thin. After grabbing the yellow key, you can steal a super shotgun from a duo of revenants and head out into the next area to hunt down the red key. But watch out, because grabbing this unleashes some heavy resistance in this small chamber. Once you've cleared this area, you can make your way back to the exit area. This map makes good use of verticality. You're often on the lookout for threats from above and below, as it makes for some interesting encounters. Difficulty is 5 out of 10, classic in style. Powerchord brings us the next offering with Cavern base. This map also uses a classic Doom texture lineup and sets you up in a nice classic tech base, which gave me Doom 1 vibes straight away. The rooms are fairly spacious, giving you room to maneuver, which is nice when you're trying to dodge cacodemon attacks, and then it sends you outside to some rocky canyon environs. Some well-positioned barrels help you clear away some of the weaker monsters, and if you have a keen eye you'll spot a very generous secret area which helps arm you for the final encounter against a pair of Hell Knights. Take out these jeweled menaces and step over their corpses through the red door to end up your trip through the Cavern base. Difficulty for this map was a 4 out of 10 and it stuck to the classic elements. Next up is a map that isn't afraid to turn out the lights on you, Infirmary by Sligo3. This level sends you all over an abandoned medical facility filled with atmosphere and dread. It doesn't throw the monsters at you until several rooms in, so you're always on edge waiting for the carnage to begin, which you know is up ahead by checking out the 243 monster count. The mixture of incredibly dark rooms and hostile hit scanners makes the first quarter of this map quite challenging, and I found myself on frequent trips back to the earlier area on medkit hunts. As you navigate flickering dark server rooms, radioactive imaging labs, and monster-filled wards on a hunt for keys and switches, you'll be begging for an upgrade in weaponry, which does eventually come by way of a secret plasma rifle. Sligo keeps the pressure on you through the entire way, and you find every room you clear is a praiseworthy feat. The areas are really beautifully put together, and it's clear a lot of time was put into the detail and layout of Infirmary. After a good 25 minutes of navigating, you'll find yourself in a rundown garage area and close to freedom, but not before you have to clear away a spider mastermind, which is soon followed by a cyberdemon. I ended up giving the cyberdemon the slip by running past him for the exit. This map was huge in scale, and I don't doubt that I missed several chunky areas even after all that time. 7 out of 10 difficulty, and this map kept to classic elements. Martian Sewer Lab by the 67-pound goldfish starts off underwater in a nukage pit where you're immediately taking damage and have to swiftly swim up to safety. Following this, you're accosted by Hell Knights and pinkies aplenty. There are several health kits and a berserk littering the sewer line, so make use of them to clear up this first area. The map has you navigate through a massive nukage-filled complex where you have to balance radiation suit management along with monster control. If you choose your direction well, you'll be armed with a plasma rifle and a rocket launcher, which is just as well because there's hordes of mid to high tier monsters scattered throughout this base. Another underwater swim plus switch hunt releases a bunch of stealth cacodemons at you, which is almost too cruel as the rad suit you have for the swim threatens to expire. Finally, you make it to a computer chamber which presents you with a little change of pace by way of a puzzle room. If you can find the hidden switches, you can get a BFG and the blue key to progress. You can also free some marine allies here, but I wasn't able to figure out how to do that. The blue key didn't appear for me when I found the switch, which may be due to the release version of ramp that I was playing on, so I had to give myself the key to keep going. I also had some bugs appear after getting the yellow key, which made grabbing the super shotgun impossible. But I pushed on to the end and took on the final cyberdemon encounter before finishing out this map. This one was quite challenging at a 7 out of 10, and had some custom elements to it. I expect the final release may address some of the bugs I encountered. Babby's first tech base comes next by ITI4, a compact but nicely put together classic tech base. This map pits you against a fairly densely compacted set of monsters right from the first room. The author's rooms are clean and nicely detailed with good use of high levels and light variation without cluttering up the areas with unnecessary detail or objects. You're quickly given a super shotgun which makes the encounters nicely balanced, and you're taken out to the back of the base through this concrete lined area where you can upgrade your arsenal to a rocket launcher, a weapon you should only use sparingly in this fairly confined map. The level circles back around, taking you back to the entry room where you face off against a Baron before taking you into a blue carpet lined final room with some Hell Knights and Revenants to clear out before allowing you to leave. This map was nice and felt quite balanced throughout with a 4 out of 10 for difficulty. It stuck to true classic elements. Bear's Ramp Rumble by Death Bear. opens out in a futuristic looking steel-clad tech base with beautiful use of OTEX's boldly coloured textures to accentuate the environment with striking greens and yellows. You start outside the yellow barred exit portal and are sent out into this open plan base under a striking green nebula. The map is filled with low tier monsters to start you out, as it sends you on a switch hunt in an effort to release the yellow keys from their enclosures. The monster type and count rises as you navigate through the complex. However, if you're attentive, you can spot a break in the railing which leads you down to a secret rocket launcher. This really evens the playing field for the final encounter, which is a menacing archvile which attempts to resurrect the monsters you spent your time killing. Kill him and his revenant bodyguards and you'll soon be able to open up the exit portal and get out of here. Difficulties are 4 out of 10 for this one, and it stays true to the classic elements. Bruno, Levi, Constancio brings us the BPA Alpha base, a tech base which immediately throws an absolute throng of hit scanners your way with a very hot start. Your best bet is to try and take out the chain gunner first so you're equipped enough to blast away the rest of the mob. A shotgun can also be collected from the zombies or found in a central Tech Blue server room. Once you've got your bearings, you can start clearing away the side chambers and find a secret super shotgun. Explore the blue key room, then circle back to the front area where you'll find some hellish corruption has burst through the walls of this base, inhabited by plenty of Hell Knights, Revenants and Mancubi. If you manage to empty out this region, you'll be given a rocket launcher and sent back into the main base to try and find the yellow skull key. A new arrow highlighted on the ceiling at the entrance gives you a clue to check the blue door room again, where you can hit a console that opens up a new area to explore. You're taken into an experimentation chamber and afterwards find the yellow key has appeared in the courtyard along with more demons. Grab the key and open up the final area, clear it out from its monsters and you're free to leave. Difficulty was 5 out of 10 for this map and it had some UDMF elements to it. Cool Training by Mayland12 comes next on the list. This map takes a different turn as it lands you in a marine-filled dormitory where you've woken up late for your basic training drills. Grab the blue keycard left in the toilets, then head into the yard. Here you'll first encounter some basic jumping, crouching and climbing exercises before kicking it up a notch with some balancing crusher obstacles. The next area really puts on the heat as you're made to balance on paper-thin high-rise walkways above a nukage pit while a cyberdemon launches rockets your way. Make your way past this and the next challenge demands accurate footwork as touching red means instant death. This drill gets some spice added to it as the ceiling quickly begins lowering, meaning you have to run fast but stay on the blue. After this you're given a swim and switch hunt through a cavern, the second part of which adds crushers to the mix. Next is a firing range, followed by a quick encounter with some zombie hostiles and a couple more similar styled rooms. The last challenge has you swim through some floating water, followed by a rocket jump exercise to get you to the end. Good job Marine, you're well equipped to handle the rest of the tech base zone now. Difficulty 3 out of 10, UDMF elements are used here. This is a fun change of pace. Thundergod brings us Rooted in Blood next, a delightful abandoned tech base map in which the base has been reclaimed by nature. You have to navigate the overgrown facility, navigating through vines and undergrowth while dealing with the demonic threat which has overrun the place. Much of the map is filled with an atmospheric red haze, and I appreciate the detail put into all the lighting work through the map. You need to find a key to escape from the first half of this level, which sends you back along some suspended access railings to the upper half of the complex, which has really been consumed by the overgrowth. The map isn't afraid to throw mid-tier monsters your way, especially at the end, which has you face off against an assortment of Hell Nobles just before the exit. This map was a 6 out of 10 for difficulty and made use of UDMF elements. We grab our towel next and dive into Life, the Universe and Everything by ConstantineDTW, and I'm very pleased to immediately spot that the monster count for this map is a very fitting 42. This map sets you off into an initial rock-walled chamber decorated with speared corpses and heads on poles, and gets your blood pumping with a hot start against an angry mob of zombies and imps with little cover to jump behind. A shotgun's given to you to deal with this threat, and next to the door of the chamber is a super shotgun, a weapon you'll want to have at the ready as you break into the second chamber. A grey starten-walled rounded room similar to the first room, with a central pillar and a hell of a lot of trouble by way of hell nobles and pain elementals. The third room continues the trend, but gives you more moving space, which is just as well because you have to dodge the attacks from an Archvile, a Cyberdemon and Revenants in here. If you're brave enough to push into the room, you'll be rewarded with a BFG to handle the onslaught, which can quickly be managed with an itchy trigger finger. Clear out this room and you'll have your freedom. A quick and simple map, which was a lot like a shot of coffee, good to raise the heart rate for more tech bases to come. 3 out of 10 difficulty for this one, and it stuck to classic Doom style. On to Stasis by the Rolling Gherkin next. This map has us wake from our cryo chamber to discover that our base is under attack by Hell's minions and has already been overrun. You have to orient yourself, find a nearby chainsaw, and get to the counter assault before the horrors overwhelm you. Stasis makes use of the classic Doom set of textures, but augments them with some UDMF styling like glow and coloured sectors in some places, giving a map that still has a classic look and feel, but feels just a little bit extra. Once we've armed ourselves and defended the area, we can open up the other Stasis chambers, only to find our fellow Marines are already gone or dead, but we can upgrade the arsenal with a chain gun and push into the final half of the map. This sends us deeper into the complex through radioactive chambers and storage rooms, and if you're curious enough, you might even find a double secret offering both a rocket launcher and a plasma rifle. After finding the red key, I was a bit confused on where to go next. I saw a red line on my map back in the earlier area of the map, which I thought must have needed the red key, and I went there, only to find it was a line def on a stairwell. I hit it thinking it might be a red key secret or something, and it turns out it was an exit line. Oh well. This map gets a 4 out of 10 difficulty and had UDMF styling. What's in Store by Vex comes next. This is a map which I playtested early on and is a really nicely designed classic tech-based map which makes use of classic Doom textures and UDMF lighting with plenty of detail made to each area. You start out in a small staging area inside the base and break out into a demon-filled warehouse. You're quickly given a chain gun, which is very useful to snipe down the looming Cacodemon threat, before we head to a side chamber for a red key. Picking this up opens an errant portal to a hellish chamber though, so take care. We're soon directed outside to a large courtyard lined by tall industrial-style buildings, and have to fend off angry Cacodemons and Revenants before heading up a lift and exploring a small cave system. A secret eyeball switch gives us access to the rocket launcher, which is a very helpful addition because there's a party of demons downstairs and you are the VIP guest. Clear out the yard for a second time, then grab the yellow key, and you're subjected to this extremely cruel Revenant turret trap with added Hell Knight. If you survive this, you can head back into the original base and make way through to the final third of the map. You're given a super shotgun, but don't think for a second this means the hard part is over, because once you turn this corner, you're absolutely swamped by Revenants and a really mean-spirited Archvile. Your way back is closed off, so the only thing you can do to escape the fire is to push deeper into the complex, which just wakes up more nasties. I swear this area was half as difficult during the playtest, and now it feels almost downright cruel. Nevertheless, we eventually overcome the odds and put this tech base to our rear. Difficulty is 7 out of 10 for this map, and it made use of some UDMF elements. Next is Engineering Area by Duckycat. Another classic tech-based environment. Engineering Area starts you off with a nice tech pillar accentuated starting room facing off against some imps. The rooms are nice and spacious and easy to navigate through, and you're soon armed with a super shotgun to help you with your extermination efforts. Duckycat uses poly objects to make some nice side-sliding doorways and secret areas, reminiscent of Wolfenstein 3D's sliding secret walls. And their secrets are subtly but nicely signposted with slight texture variations. A nice wide open secret courtyard arms you with a rocket launcher, and you're then free to push ahead through to the red key storeroom. This is where the map broke for me, as the switch I hit, which should have raised a crate to let me get to the red key, didn't seem to activate. I spent a good 10 minutes looking around confused as to what to do before I realised it hadn't worked properly, and I ended up having to no-clip myself up to make progress, possibly something that's a quirk of my particular snapshot version of ramp. Back on track, we take out the final set of monsters, barring our path through the red door and to the exit, where we leave the engineering area in our dust. Difficulty 4 out of 10, UDMF style elements were used in this map. Techbase Infiltration by Jay comes next. Another map I played an early version of, however, since playtesting it there has been a lot of work done with dynamic lighting and the level looks positively beautiful as a result. We break out of the starter air ducts into what feels like a bomb shelter style subterranean complex filled with monsters. I wasn't supposed to get the red key by running full speed at the safety glass, but modern problems require modern solutions, I guess. For completeness, I activated the demonic lockdown and killed the demons that had the key locked down anyway. I really appreciate that Jay took the time to cut out the stairs in the shape of the tile texture. I've done that before and it can get quite time consuming, but it really looks great. We descend down through a vat of water and through an airlock into an even darker, cold iron lined bunker and get to work clearing out the plethora of demons that have taken up residence here. After we've done that, we activate the tractor beam and get sent up to space where we meet a rather cinematic exit by way of rockets to the face. Difficulty 5 out of 10 for this map, and it was UDMF heavy. Next is Base Escape by Scrapz, which starts us off in a nice tech blue lined room. We find an early secret which takes us into these Wolfenstein bricked waterways, which gives us a soul sphere and lets us get the drop on some zombies. We then break out into a spacious warehouse where we can earn a plasma rifle with a bit of long jumping. Afterwards, we school an arachnotron on proper plasma rifle technique and hunt through these concrete side chambers for some keys. There appears to be 2 blue skull keys to find here. I'm not sure if it was an oversight or if Scrapz was just being extra generous. But once we break through the blue door, we're met with heavy hitter demons in a wide open brick-lined room, before heading outside, taking on some revenants and cacodemons, and then escaping through the final portal. This map was fairly forgiving at a 3 out of 10 for difficulty, and it kept to the classic elements. Next is the OldBeanFactory by Brenton K. This one starts you off in a courtyard outside this abandoned factory and has you clear out a couple of imps and zombies using a discarded chain gun before sending you in the old factory where you have to face off against demons, lost souls and more imps, and some violent chain gunners in between the old vats of what I have to assume is a beanie sludge. You can find a helpful secret with a soul sphere if you make a side trip and then head out into a more modern tech-style operations room. Here you're given a plasma rifle and contend with a Baron and a Revenant before wandering in the back halls in search for a yellow key. This gives you access to the production line where you defend yourself against an onslaught of demons led by an archvile. You can find a secret here to help you out with the final push and quickly clear out the area before being able to leave. This map was nicely done with a good use of height and texturing to flesh out the map. Difficulty for this one is 4 out of 10 and it stuck to classic elements. We head on now to Lizi's tech base by LiziPancake. Lizi gives us plenty of room to move in this nicely dim starter room with an interesting set of lit up ceiling tiles. A secret room gives you a shotgun to more easily clear out the threat, and you can then head deeper into the complex. There's a super shotgun guarded by a couple of chain gunners, but if the door closes on you before you can snatch it, never fear because you can head through the air ducts to pick it up, as well as a secret berserk pack. We head over a nice 3D floor built bridge over some coolant and make way into a large metallic pipe-lined room where we're gifted the blue card after fighting off a Hell Knight. The blue door takes us outside through these decorative can stones to battle an Archvile and Mancubus alongside some shotgun zombies. Once we clear the threat, we can leave via the portal. This was a quick one by Lizi and gets a 3 out of 10 for difficulty. It used some UDMF elements in it and was a fun one to blast through. We move on to the abandoned Medbase by Solmyr next. This is at least the 3rd hospital or medical facility I've encountered so far in the Techbase zone, which is interesting. We start off with a rather rough initial room, facing against chain gunners firing from multiple side offices, but are given a chain gun ourselves to balance out the threat. We move then into the complex proper, where mid-tier threats such as Mancubi and Arachnotrons make themselves known. After getting our bearings, we find that we have to grab a red key to proceed, so we make our way through the halls in search of this. This is by far the cleanest looking hospital of those that I've played through so far, with pristine white walls and tidy beds. We're treated to some nice custom textures throughout, including these nice record shelves in the medical history room. Before moving on to this bright red area of the medbase, which has to be the worst colour choice for a hospital. A red key is found on a blood-stained operating table, which signals to a shift of Hell Knights that it's time to come and play. After wiping the floors with them, we can descend to the red door and contend with the final roster of Hell Knights and seemingly endless stream of zombies before we're able to jump through the exit. A fun little map, 4 out of 10 on difficulty and classic in style, with some custom textures to mix things up. GreyBeret's fort atop Mount Omen starts us off, ascending a beautiful looking circular stone platform to some snow-capped peaks. We seek shelter in a cave system and clear out the first wave of monsters holed up in here before pushing into this fort complex. GreyBeret treats us to some wonderful sector and texture work to build the environment in this map, from a stowed away UAC truck to the stalagmites and the computer and stationery on the desks throughout. Everything has been constructed with care to sell the scene, and it really works. We have to navigate through some waterways to breach deeper into the fort, after which we're sent out onto this cliffside with beautiful flak cannon battlements. The map is not without its dangers, and you'll find yourself facing off against waves of revenants, mancubi and cacodemons throughout the middle half of this. However, you are armed with the super shotgun. After finding the yellow key and dealing with the subsequent monster closet threat, you're upgraded to plasma rifle status. Soon after, you make your way topside once more, where you're given a rocket launcher to handle new threats coming your way. And this teleporting archvile trick was a little bit mean. The final battle takes place in a rocket bunker where you must overcome a spider mastermind threat before you're able to head out to the Skyrail escape. 6 out of 10 difficulty for Mount Omen, and this has some UDMF elements like 3D floors, mostly for decorative purposes like on the flak cannons. Indie Sun Praiser slows our heart rate and gives us a change of atmosphere with their map The Escape, which starts us off breaking out from a cage in the basement of some shadowy corporation. This room and the entire map beyond is all beautifully lit with some heavy dynamic lighting use and looks absolutely stunning. We're pit against a cacodemon pair of imps on the rooftop with only a pistol to our name until you find the Berserk kit hiding behind some air ducts. After finding the blue key, we breach into a room of partitioned office desks and make our way through a hole in the toilet to a dimly lit storage room filthy with hungry spectres. Grab the red key and we can head back upstairs to the office to break into the boardroom and gun down the bigwigs running this operation. One final push past 2 hellish barons and we can make our escape. I really loved the atmosphere for this one and would be interested to know what happens next. 4 out of 10 difficulty and UDMF heavy in style. Launch control by Lonan sends us to a nuclear bunker where we have to break through the demonic threat and launch a rocket. The map starts out nicely with some blood streaks on the floor and then sends you into the action, fending off zombies and resetting the core of this massive machine, which allows us to navigate to the blue key. A quick trip through the air ducts is in order before falling out dramatically to this starting room, and we make our way down a lift to this radioactive spill and some nasty threats such as revenant turrets. After snatching the yellow key, we navigate back to find this lift sequence, which drops demons down on top of you. I had the very clever idea of letting the lift drop and then sending a rocket down with me to clear them out, forgetting that I dropped much faster than a rocket and nearly ended up eating it myself. This final area gives us the red launch card and an archvile friend to play with before sending us up topside to launch this thing. The wake of the rocket clears out most of the remaining threats for us and we're allowed to leave. A fun map overall, 6 out of 10 for difficulty and UDMF style. Next we jump into UAC mining colony Alkaline Storm by Racing Stripe AV. This was a rather large tech-based station which started us off in these block-off offices where if you hit this computer you get to actually play some classic Doom right in the middle of the map. This has to be the first time I've seen Doom played inside of Doom. No time to keep playing, we jump back into the mining station to work our way through the maze-like base filled with office spaces, medbays, libraries and maintenance tunnels filled with radioactive vapours, all on our hunt to find a couple of keys that can send us into where this demonic threat is coming from. Some uncovered ruins in this cave system beneath the base. There's an area here which indicates how many secret portraits you found through the map, and presumably if you find them all you get given something juicy. I wouldn't know because I missed 2 of them. The middle arc of this map concludes in a boss fight with an absolute monster of a cyber demon who's nearly twice the normal size and must have the health pool of at least 4 normal standard cyber demons. After channeling nearly all your ammo into this beast, you finally down him and can head back topside to round out the map. This is easier said than done though, because you have to take some lengthy diversions through the now repopulated base, gunning down demons left, right and centre before making your way back to the entrance, which also serves as the exit. This map was a 6 out of 10 for difficulty, and it had a little bit of a bite to it. It had some UDMF elements like coloured sectors. Jumping into the next map, we have Water Damage by Lyad. Starting off in the ruined courtyard exterior of an overrun base, we quickly break to the side to pick up a berserk kit before coming back to clear off the welcoming party. As we enter this base, we quickly see that it is in a sorry state. The floors are cracked and broken, lighting is shoddy and unreliable, and as you head deeper there's been some extensive water damage throughout this entire base, causing it to be just falling to bits. That doesn't stop this place from being inhabited by a demonic host though, and you soon find there's plenty of entities living in this base who don't appreciate you showing up. Some vicious archviles guard the red key in the sunken basement here, and are none too happy to see you try and steal it, but a few rockets to the face silence their protests and you can make your way to the final area of the map. This turns out to be a demon-filled courtyard of course, and as you come in to find the entryway closes behind you, you're left to face off against the horde in one final battle royale before you can take your yellow key prize and head through to the exit. 5 out of 10 difficulty for this map, and it kept to classic elements. After this we leap into Entity, open parentheses, not this time, close parentheses, by Felisander. The first room is immediately recognisable as you enter this map, but don't let it fool you because this place will throw you through many loops before it's done. The E1M1 environment quickly gives way to a mind-boggling, bizarre, warped tech base, which will have you thinking the entire complex is possessed by some chaotic spirit who's twisting it to their desires. You'll come across many bizarre and confusing locations, such as this set of halls with line portals that wrap the room back in on itself as you progress through, or this corruption of E1M1's side room with a BFG in place with a security armour, or this set of structures that looks reminiscent of Doom 2's Map 1, but duplicated multiple times over and warped. Most locations in this map will trigger some memory of a classic map in your brain, but completely pervert it. The map is fairly challenging at parts, and will take a few tries to build up a healthy set of weapons and be able to clear your way through it. But as you do, you'll become more familiar with how the map's laid out and learn to adapt. Once you've collected the red and blue keys, it means you're allowed to exit, so long as you can remember where the exit door is. Hit the final switch and leave this haunted base to whatever entity owns it. 7 out of 10 difficulty, and line portal use gives this an UDMF style. Psychedelic Eyeball gives us Baron culture next. This demon-controlled base is first infiltrated by Doomguy through this blood-filled canal which leads into the facility itself. You'll quickly face off against Mancubi and Revenants as well as plenty of hit scanners, so get ready to hurt. Once the first area is secured, we breach into this set of halls, which branch off into a few directions. The first takes you into a corrupted office area with some oversized workstations and teases you with a massive glowing access denied sign on the ground, a warning which, if ignored, unleashes a host of revenants against you. Heading back the other way sets you into this multi-tiered lecture hall style area with rows of computer servers built along each tier and an unfortunate amount of demons ready to tear you apart. This only gets worse as once you find the yellow key here, you unleash some archviles to bring back the corpses that you spent so long making. After going through the yellow door, this facility loses all pretense of being a standard tech base and opens up to red rock-lined walls and lava-filled rooms, with a very generous amount of high threat level demons to accompany you. Battle your way out of this area and you're back into the main base, where a dozen or so revenants have been unleashed to hunt you down. Afterwards is a parking yard fight-off against some hell bosses, and you're finally allowed to leave, battered and bruised. This map was an 8 out of 10 for me in difficulty. I found it quite challenging in some parts. It used UDMF elements. Time for some light-hearted fun with high stakes, where you take the role of a farmer who's woken up to their cows missing and an ominous spaceship floating above your yard. Head up the tractor beam and you'll board the spaceship, where you find your precious cows captured. You'll have to fight off some arachnotrons above some of your very unbothered bovine companions, and then push further on through this vent, which breaks out underneath you into a computer terminal room. Clear out the threats that attack you here and swipe the blue key before making it back to the arachnotron room, where a really annoying archvile is teleport skipping around, resurrecting the arachnotrons and making it awfully inconvenient to actually kill him. Afterwards, you're sent through a teleporter, and after fighting a few hell barons, you come across the mastermind of this operation. It looks like the great mooing overlord has come to bring its subject back home. But those are your cows, dammit, so of course you fight back against this monstrosity of a beast. Finally besting it in single combat before you suddenly wake up. It's daytime and your cows are back. It was all a dream. Or was it? 6 out of 10 difficulty for this one, and it was a custom map with a nicely altered end boss. Moving on to a hell of a tech base called Blueberry Jamming by Buffy. I appreciate that the soundtrack, also by the author, is called Grinding Smurfs to Pulp. This map is a sprawling base which starts you off in a central area and gives you multiple directions to go. Your ultimate goal here is to find 3 keys scattered throughout the map and use them to open 3 doors which hold switches that unlock the exit area back at the central hub. The map is non-linear and will take you through dark libraries, flashy computer rooms, nukage-filled sewer areas, and monster-laced courtyards. There's no wrong direction to go, and each area feeds into another area so fluidly you won't even realise you've transitioned into an entirely new spot of the map until you stumble across the next key that you need. The monster choices and placement are brutal but not unfair, and will certainly give you a challenge. And there are several iterations of most weapons, ensuring that you'll be well armed regardless of the direction you travel. I can't overstate enough how well designed this map is. Every monster feels like it was put in with purpose, and every area of the map is beautifully distinct, yet common and logical enough in decoration to make it feel like it all belongs together. Buffy must have spent a long time planning and playtesting this map because it just flows so well. The end battle is a bit rough, sending you on a descending platform which quickly fills up with tough demons, but the inclusion of these clever teleporters in each of the nooks that give you a quick escape when things get overwhelming are a genius idea. 7 out of 10 difficulty for this map, and it kept to classic Doom mechanics and elements. Onto the penultimate map of the tech base zone, Midoriya Mining Corp. This map by Takeo Kurita is a beast of a level that starts you off in some stark green iron-laced industrial halls with an excellent lighting and detailing. But you won't have long to appreciate the environs, because Takeo will soon begin throwing monsters at you and pretty much won't stop until you stumble through the exit. You warm up with a Revenant Arachnotron combo amongst other threats, while only armed with the shotgun, and are soon led to this central square courtyard, which you'll become familiar with later. Here you get a rocket launcher before branching out into an area with a violent ambush of Mancubine Arachnotrons and Revenants. You're going to want to get comfortable with letting monsters infight in this map, because you'll need all the help you can get. So take advantage of those Arachnotrons to help whittle down the Mancubi, then head inside to hit the floor switch within. Handle the second wave of demons that comes at you, then head back to the courtyard, which reveals a chain gun for your shooting pleasure. Navigate through the second wing of the Midoriya Mining Corp and dance your way out of trouble when the next trap is sprung to the tune of demons, cacos and revenant turrets. Take care of the Baron threat which comes next, and then weave back into the courtyard for a third wing of this slaughterfest in the caverns below the corporation. You're actually treated to a bit of a breather area here with these relatively tame maze-like corridors before it's right back into it for the final wing, which culminates in a Cyberdemon feud with all of his buddies. Once you've finished this threat, limp your way to the exit and have a break. You've earned it. This map earns an 8 out of 10 difficulty, and I think there might be some scripting elements in here classing it as a UDMF map. The final delivery in the Techbase scene is Operation Shellbreak by Verathis. This map has an interesting start as it lets you take 2 separate entrances which start you off in different areas of the map. You're given 2 objectives: to destroy the shield generator and find an experimental shielded vest. But to do either of these, you first need to break into this facility, which I did by leaping into the sewer line and climbing in through the sludge. This sent me through some back halls of this facility where I got to work clearing out the threats. This map has so many side passages and rooms to explore that I'm pretty sure that even after 30 minutes of playing just this map, I still missed some areas. I got lucky with an early secret and actually found a way in to destroy the shield generator nice and early, after which I'm given the new objective to extract from the base. But I found myself exploring further and finding so many extra interesting places that I didn't want to even try and break my way out yet. I disabled a demonic dampener which caused meaty growths to start growing around the place, and I found a switch to divert the air defense turrets outside to attack my enemies, and explored this awesome coolant-filled chamber. I got a bit lost in the end with this map. I wasn't sure where to extract to. I searched all the outside area and nearly found a massive amount of cacodemons and dug my way through the base, finding the optional shielded vest completely by accident, before finding a way out which actually seemed to just lead me deeper into demon territory. So I don't think I got the happy ending per se. 6 out of 10 difficulty for this. There were some custom elements to this map, such as custom monsters. So this concludes part 2 of the Tech Zone. This area had over 60 maps and was a massive undertaking. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. It's been fantastic witnessing all the creativity on display by this community. If you've stumbled onto this video and are interested in playing these maps yourself, I fully encourage you to download Ramp 2025 and see what some of the community has put together. Alternatively, you can check out my videos covering the other ramp maps, with more to come out in the coming week or 2. Thanks for watching.